Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to do another new to me color. I think it's existed for a while. This is called Cutthroat Trout dye. I've never poured this before, but based off of just what I see in the bottle, looks to me to be some sort of golden brown. If you take the tip off there, maybe a little hint of green there in the tip. Anyway, we're going to do 4 different saturations. We're going to do 5 drops, 10 drops, 20 drops, and then 40 drops. And we're going to do something a bit different. We're going to do an open pour mold today. So I typically do not do open pours. I know that there are a lot of people that, man, this is their main thing, you know, and there's some beautiful creations that come out of it. It's truly, you know, it can be like its own type of art form. I am a little bit more focused on a retail area, and doing this sort of stuff is very, very time consuming and pretty much the antithesis to retail environment. So my buddy Sean printed this off, just a 3D mold, and originally I was going to use this as a color tester. Sometimes when I'm doing like smaller batches, like you can still order 1 or 2 bags from me. You know, sometimes if I'm mixing a color or something, I like to just see how the saturations are. And they sell little color testers, like little aluminum molds with just kind of little, I don't know, depressions in them that you would fill just so you can see different saturation levels and like how it would look in an actual bait. And instead of buying one of those, I think they're about 25 bucks on Epic bait molds. Not that that's a problem, but I realized that I had this laying around, so it kind of works as a color tester. Today it's going to work as our open pour mold of choice, and what we're going to do is we're going to do 5 drops, 10 drops, 20, and 40 drops, and then we are going to do a bunch of different colors. So we've got some disco flake, we've got some red 2x2, I've shown this on the channel before, we've got some purple, and then we are going to do some of this copper, and we're just going to see how each of them looks. I think we're probably going to do them in this order. So we'll do, you know, 5 drops with the disco shad, we'll do 10 drops with the red, we'll do 20 drops with the purple, and then we'll do 40 drops with the copper. I have no real expectations as far as what this is going to look like or what flake is going to look best in it, but that is why we are going to be here today. I'm going to pour all of these, and then once we've poured all of them, I will then go ahead and show them to you and reveal them. And we will be right back as soon as our plastic is ready. Okay, we're back. Plastic is ready. This one's going to be 5 drops. I'm probably not going to show every single time I'm adding the colorant. That gets to be super time consuming on a video. But we'll show this first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. Kind of yellowed. To be perfectly honest, this looks like burned plastic. If you put this plastic in the microwave too long or you heat it up too long, it turns this like sour yellow color. And I guess that's a good way to describe it right now, is like sour yellow. So that's 5 drops. We'll go ahead and add, let's do an 1/8 of this disco flake. And we will mix this up. Go. And the other thing I should mention is I'm not going to be vacuuming these at all. I mean, of course, if you're doing open pours, you know, you definitely want to vacuum chamber this stuff before you pour it. For today's purposes, and since I'm not going to really fish these or sell these or give these away or anything like that, we're just going to be straight pouring these. So here we go. Let's start with the first one. go. As I mentioned before, an open pour master I am not. So of course there's, you know, slop all over the place. You know, eventually when this cures and we pull it out of the mold, we should be able to, you know, trim that up a little bit. I'm not selling these or using these in any way, so I think we should be good to go from there. So that's the first one. Let's get on to doing the next 3, and we'll see where we're at. Okay, we're back. Here is 10 drops. And I just wanted to show you this. In this, you can see we're getting a lot closer to that green, gold brown with 10 drops. And I imagine that as the saturation gets more, as we move toward the 20 and the 40 drops, I imagine that this will start getting even more profound. But you can see there, it's kind of like a brown to gold change. So let's go ahead and get this poured. Add some red flake to this one. This is that red 2x2. That made a very interesting kind of color. Let's get this poured. Again, a pouring master I'm not. This is why I stick to almost exclusively injection molds. You know, you can definitely chop this off and everything, but you know, there's definitely people that are masters of this technique that you know, just have very steady hands and very good at it. But I'm not one of those people, so. We will be right back as soon as our next color is ready to go. Okay, we're back. This is 20 drops. As you can see, we're getting a lot more of that brown, almost like a cherry red. There's like a deep brown, cherry red, I don't know what it is, but it's as the saturation increases, obviously you can see, we're getting a lot more of those brown hues to come out. You can see it's a lot more green around the edge there. Let's go ahead and get some flake added. Kind of an interesting color. Purple kind of darkened it down a little bit. Now it's like a brown red with purple. Go ahead and get this poured. There we go. Total lack of hand control. That's what that looks like. Sometimes I wonder how people that exclusively do open pour, there's definitely a talent associated with that. But for right now, you got the slop pour. Before we unveil all of this, I'll clean all this stuff up. We'll be right back for our last one. It's going to be 40 drops. Okay, we're back. This is 40 drops, and we are really getting that gold hue now. And I should mention, all of these far under a cup. I mean, probably half a cup, I would have, if I had to guess, of plastic. So if that gives you any idea of the saturation levels. We're going to go ahead and add some of this copper flake. That one's kind of interesting. Alright, let's try to do this a little less sloppy this time. Slow, slow. Alright. That one was alright. Still a little bit of slop on the ends. I'll clean that up. But I guess that's how it goes, you know. Slow and steady wins the race. I guess it's sort of the same thing with open pour techniques. Okay, we're back. Alright, all of these have solidified a little bit, and all I've done is taken them out and turned them upside down. Now, this is kind of an interesting profile. If we sold these, I would probably throw something similar to this, you know, kind of typical paddle tail style. At the top we have our 5 drops. As you can see, very light, just really tinting the plastic. And as you can see, as I rotate it, it's a little bit darker. There's a good one. Versus a little bit more clear as the light passes through it. The disco flake really kind of is aiding in that. But at 5 drops, really just kind of tinting the plastic, not really the saturation we're going for at all. At 10 drops, this is what we got. We got a little bit more green coming out. There you go, you can see right there. I'll put it on my hand. And of course with the red flake, you can see it's bringing out a little bit of those brown tones. Now when light passes through this, of course, you can see right there, nice and green. And when light is not passing through it, it's kind of a little bit darker. I can see throwing this kind of color, but I think this is still a little bit too light to achieve, you know, the desired end result. Now we're up at 20 drops, and we can see that we are starting to get a lot more of these green hues. The purple, of course, is going to bring that out. See, this is kind of approaching like a watermelon-esque color. And then, of course, if I put it on my hand and there is no light, we can see that it's starting to get a little bit darker. Maybe a little bit of brown. And now, at this point, we're approaching kind of like a green pumpkin type of deal. And this is good. There's other green pumpkins I would use, and other, you know, or watermelon, whatever it is, there's other ones that I would use. So I still don't feel like this is the correct saturation. This, however, at 40 drops, I feel like is a correct saturation of how this color is supposed to look. You can see that golden brown. As I rotate it, that's a good one right there. You can see the gold on top and the brown on bottom. Kind of a very dark gold hue. And of course that gold flake in there is doing its best to bring out like kind of more the gold highlight there. But this I can see being something that you throw. I mean, specifically with this gold highlight, I think that this would look incredible in like a creature bait, probably even like a longer ribbon tail worm, anything with a little bit of body thickness. So there you go. That is Cutthroat Trout. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Okay, if you've stuck around this long, you're in for a bit of a surprise. First, I just want to say thank you for watching the video in its entirety. Second, on the related note of open pours, so this is a 6-inch open pour here. My buddy Sean 3D prints these. I think this is very similar to like the G6. I'm led to believe that, at least. It has a hook slot. I'm going to go ahead and pour one of these up for you. Again, not an open pour specialist by any means. This is probably going to turn out pretty terrible, and definitely not selling this or doing anything with it. I mean, I'd probably just hang it up or something. But we're going to pour this, and we're just going to see what it is that this whole open pour craze is about. I'm going to do like a pearl belly. We're going to do some of this merthylolate in the middle, and then I got a special surprise. We're actually going to use this 40 drop saturation Cutthroat Trout, and I got a special surprise additive that we're going to add on the very top, just to see what we can come up with. Again, we're not selling these. We used to sell these, but man, if I'm being honest, I have no idea how people who open pour operate a company or make money. Even if you if you look at like Magdraft, that's all machine injected, and all of their colors are very, very simple. When we're talking about hand pouring and the technique that goes into, like, I mean, there's people that like brush scales on and like skin coat and double coat and all this other stuff. So we're going to check it out, and we're going to see what this is all about. This is not the formation of a new hobby. I am definitely never getting into open pour techniques or anything of that nature. This is really just going to be like a one-off, maybe a two-off if we end up doing another video of this later. But for right now, let's see what we get. Alright, we've got our belly color. This is a very like opaque white. This is nothing more than 35 drops per cup of this stuff right here, which is MF Iridescent Pearl 3313. Probably the best liquid pearl you can ever use. This stuff, it's a real shame that, the guys over at MF, I guess, whatever happened, maybe he got injured or something, but he was moving, I don't know. But this stuff, best liquid pearl you can ever use. Ziners sells this right now. This is great stuff. So nothing more than 35 drops per cup. Now this is not a full cup. This is just the remains of some pearl that we used for a previous build. So let's go ahead and get that in on the belly. Try to be precise about this. Let that set in for a minute, and we'll be right back. We're going to do Merthylolate next. This is nothing more than 35 drops of Lorecraft Merthylolate, and then it's about 5 drops of Dead On Neo Orange per cup. Okay, our next color is going to be Merthylolate. So this is 35 drops Merthylolate from Lorecraft, and then 5 drops of any orange you want. I think I used neon orange. Let's go ahead and get this poured and see where we're at. Alright, and then we will be right back for our last color. Okay, and as our last ingredient, our top color, we're going to take our 40 drops of Cutthroat Trout with our copper flake in it. There's what we got. And as our special additive, I don't know if many of you know, some of you don't, but we recently released a whole bunch of different powders for bait makers. One of them is a borosilicate based powder. It is both the highest quality and the most affordable on the entire market. It beats every other company out there. This is what it looks like here. Comes in little jars, and we are going to put in, we called this color WitchLight. It is a purple to green shift. So I don't know if the camera's picking it up there, but you can see the green, you can see the purple. And we're going to go in with about 1/8 of this. Now I have no idea how this will interact. I have never mixed this color with this brown before. And let's get the cap back on that since it loves to blow everywhere. Alright, we can see right now we've got some very venom-looking tendrils. And as we mix it in, let's see. Ooh. Ooh, okay. Now that is like a brown, green to yellow shift. There it is on the end of the knife there. You can see yellow to brown, green. And we're going to get that poured as the top part of this fish and see how it does. Alright, and there it is again. So I think I did an alright job. We're going to wait a minute, wait till this solidifies a little bit, and then we're going to pull it out and see what we get. Okay, here we go. We're dry. And we are going to open this up, see what we got. Okay, on first look, I see why the people that are doing open pours are so steady-handed. It looks like I had some drips on the side there. Alright, there's that side. Looks like I didn't let it dry long enough because we got a little bit of a split there. Like I said, by no means am I a hand pouring expert at all. But there you go on the top. That'd make a good top for a frog. Kind of a green brown swirl, and then as it transitions, kind of like a yellow. In fact, I might pour some frogs with that top and see what we get. But there we go. That is our special bonus round as far as the cutthroat trout. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments.